Welcome to this presentational video, or almost a tutorial, about the Swarovski BTF turret, the Ballistic Turret Flex. In this video I'm going to explain how to use this turret, this ballistic turret or BDC turret, on a new series of rifle scopes made by Swarovski, the Z8. And I will also compare some or evaluate some basic features of this turret. As you probably know, on the previous Swarovski scopes, you have to decide if you need a BDC turret at the beginning when you ordered a scope, when you bought it. Afterwards, if you want to upgrade the BT turret on a Swarovski Z6 scope, you needed to send it back to the factory so that they install the turret on the scope in their facility, in their factory. With a BTF and the Z8 scope, this story is completely different. You buy a scope with capped turrets, with these caps. The vintage cap is really nice. It also contains the spare battery for the illumination. And then the ballistic turret or the BDC turret is an accessory. You just buy it separately. You can buy one for the elevation and for long-range hunting, or you can buy two and use them, one on the elevation and another one on the windage. The installation, it's really easy. It is so easy that even a child could do it. You just put the turret on, you slide it around, you feel the first click, then you push it down, you hear the second click, and the turret is installed. It's a really nice BDC turret. It has a zero stop and it works in a single turn fashion. It goes all the way to 70 clicks. So more than enough for, let's say, long range hunting up to 500-600 meters. It also has a locking function, very similar to the BT turret on a Z6. You just rotate the lock beneath the turret, or unlock, and you can also remove the turret anytime you wish, really easily, by pushing a pen or an ammunition on top of it, and then you just remove it. If you probably remember, if you owned a Z6 scope or if you had any kind of experience with it, you probably remember how hard it was sometimes to make a zero setting on a scope. With a Z8 this is much easier. You find a zero normally by rotating the installed normal capped turret. Let's say that now the scope is zeroed. You just pull the ring up and you set the triangle to zero. So now the turret is, the basic turret is now zeroed, the scope is zeroed with the rifle. And now you can easily install the BTF. First click, second click, and it is installed. You can now use this turret by knowing your ballistic curve and counting clicks. You know, let's say that 15 clicks applied are zero at 300 meters, and now you're set for shooting at 300 meters. But of course, a true BDC turret has to have numbers for distances. That means that you don't need to carry around with you any ballistical tables or anything similar. You just set the turret to, let's say, number 3, and that means that you can shoot to 300 meters, or you set the turret to a number 5 and shoot on 500 meters. And here Swarovski did something really, really nice. I think that at the moment they're the only manufacturer that does BDC turrets of this kind. You just unscrew the top of the turret and you remove the ring which has engraved numbers for clicks. And together with the BTF turret you get, that means 6 rings, 4 of them with numbers, 2, 3, 4, 5 for distances, and 2 of them with dots. That means for, let's say, 350, 450 meters, or 250, 450. It depends how you set your turret. Now you have to know your ballistic curve, and you can just adjust these rings accordingly. You can just install them. You know, let's say that you have a setup of your ammunition and your rifle, that you have 200 meters, 0 at 7 clicks above 100 meters. You just put number 2 on the 7th click, and that's it. Now you know that you need 15 clicks for 300 meters. You just put on, let's say, to 15 click, like this, number 3, and you know, on number 3 I'm shooting on 300 meters. Now let's say for 350, I set the dot here, and let's say for 400, you set the dot there. You have to understand, now I'm not applying and installing these rings on any real ballistic curve, but you understand the principle, I think, if I show it this way. And now you're set. You just unlock the turret, and on number 2 you have 200 meters, on number 3 you have 300 meters, on a dot 350, on a number 4 400 meters. Really, really simple. And what is really nice, totally accurate, because this way you can set all the numbers really to the exact click values you need for given distances. I already mentioned in other videos where I did reviews of these BDC turrets that I really like, where you have engraved rings and you just choose the appropriate ring for your ballistic curve and then install it on your BDC turret. They're really nice, but on the other hand, they are never as accurate if you're possible to make your own ring with numbers like here. So I think at the moment this is the most accurate ballistic BDC turret among all hunting scopes. You can, however, on some BDC turrets order rings which have engraved values for exactly your ballistic curve. That means that you send your ballistic data to a factory and they send you back the ring with engraved values for your ballistic curve. You can do this also with Swarovski. But where the problem arises, if you ever change the ammunition, you have to send all the ballistic data again to the factory, they have to engrave a new ring again, and so on and so on. With this type of turret, there is nothing easier. You just rearrange all the rings with numbers. So you always have the exact values as you wished. And you always have really accurate BDC turret. This is something what is, I would say, the main benefit of this BTF made by Swarovski in 2016. It's really flexible. So this flex word in its name, it has a meaning. It really is flexible. The other thing what is also important is that not all people are experts in ballistics. So that means that we come to a second big advantage of this flexible turret. You can just remove the turret. You can take your ammunition or the ballistic data to a gunsmith or a dealer, and you say, could you please set my turret correctly? And the dealer or the gunsmith will say, no problem, give me your ballistic data. And they can set the turret without having a scope and anything in a shop or at a workplace or anywhere. So it's really, really flexible. Then someone who understands ballistic can just rearrange all the rings, and the user will take the turret home, will put it on the scope, and it will work. So flexible indeed. And now the user can easily use the BDC turret. But the flexibility doesn't stop here. The other feature which this turret offers is to use the same turret on windage. It's really easy. You get a special engraved ring with a windage values on it. So that means it goes from 0 in both directions, to left or right, all the way to 35 mils. That means 35 clicks or 3.5 mils. And you just remove all these elevation rings from the turret. You have to unlock it, and then you see there is a small here which you have to put on 0. Then you put on the windage turret on 0, put the cap on, screw it back. Oh, I'm not careful enough. And now you can use this turret as windage turret. It goes left or right. And it also has a locking mechanism, like if you use it on elevation. So it really is extremely flexible. This BTF offers all the possibility you would wish for in a ballistic turret or a BDC turret on a hunting scope. One other thing, if there is still any room for improvement, I would say that the turret could be a bit smaller, even though it is among the smallest already. The second thing is that I don't think it is as robust as some turrets we can see. Some of the BDC turrets are also made fully out of metal. This one isn't, and you can see with this fast attaching system, I think it's not as robust as some other turrets on the market. But on the other hand, it offers you flexibility which others don't. So I would say there, for normal hunting conditions, this is probably ideal. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have any questions, send us an email, use comments on this YouTube channel, and normally visit our webpage for additional information.